Hi, and welcome to our first ever edition of Pasquier Talks. I'm Amy, a marketing executive here at Brioche Pasquier, and I am so excited to be sharing this new platform with you. Pasquier Talks is a platform used to get to know Brioche Pasquier as a company, as well as the people we work with, to give you, the listener, an insight into what it's like to be part of the Pasquier team. We look at exploring the issues that people are facing on a day-to-day basis, as well as getting to know the people behind the organisations we work with. Today, we want to share with you an interview we've had with our pitch ambassador, Dean Bowditch, from our partners MK Don's set. Dean tells us his story and experiences of being a footballer and how his career has developed. We also talk about the importance of living a healthy, balanced lifestyle, as well as advice for anyone that is looking to go into the sport industry or simply just follow their dreams. Over to you, Dean.
Hi guys, my name's Dean Bowditch. I'm currently the Community Ambassador for MK Don Sports and Education Trust. In a previous life, I was a professional footballer for 16 years, playing for the likes of Ipswich Town, Yeovil Town, MK Dons, Northampton, plus quite a few loan clubs along the way. My role now is to build relationships with local businesses, along with our superb principal partner, Brioche Pasquier, pitch obviously. Joking aside, one of my key roles now is just to try and get as much support as possible for our fantastic charity at the set, and to raise the profile. And I feel like I've been in the job for a year now, and I feel like I'm doing okay, and more people are being educated about it. So I'm really happy with what I'm doing, and long may that continue. So that's me, Dean Bowditch, and let's kick this off. One word.
Or a few.
Honest.
Okay.
He's extremely honest. Sometimes too honest. I think in my career, I used to hate dishonest people, because what sort of goes around comes around, and I just found from a young age, if you're just honest, you can't slip up, whether it's good, bad or ugly. As long as you're honest, you can kind of be true to yourself. And I know that sounds a bit kind of cliche, but I truly believe in it. So yeah, honest. Biggest weakness. I suppose one of my downfalls is my actual, in a strange way, my intelligence. My kind of, through school I was so focused on football, I suppose I didn't really study as much as I should have done, because as a kid I just dreamt of doing what I ended up sort of dreaming as a kid. I've become a professional footballer, and I was very lucky, but without that I may have struggled. So I suppose my kind of general intelligence isn't great. I'm probably quite streetwise, but no, anything intelligence wise, I'm not very good on like the chase or anything like that. So yeah, as a kid, it was very much two people that I wanted to strive to be like, and it was Teddy Sheringham and Michael Owen, which they're two completely different players if you know your football, and Teddy for me was like everything I wanted to be. He scored goals, he was extremely technical, and his ability was unbelievable. So I always wanted to be like him. I tried to emulate him. But I suppose, I know again it's a little bit cliche, but I look at like my family, and I look at my older brother and my dad and things like that, and they're again very, very honest people, hard working. My brother's got a football business. My dad's a self-employed gas and heating engineer, and has done extremely well in his life through doing that. It's just through hard work, and so if I have a role model, it comes right through the family, really. I would like. So I suppose I came into this role because I've always liked helping others, and even through my football career, I was always doing things outside of football to help. So this role came really naturally to me because I enjoy these good news stories when we've done something and it's like, I had a little hand in that. So looking forward, it will be continuing to help something or someone. So whether I move up the ladder within sort of this organisation or a football club or something like that, my burning desire will always be to help. So if I can help the football club move up the ladder, if I can help players at some point, then brilliant. It might not be directly on the grass, but somewhere in the organisation to actually help, I think is my key goal. I have an 18-month-old son, so he's very much my interest. Obviously we're stuck at home quite a lot at the moment, and we get to spend a lot of time with him, and time that I probably wouldn't have ever been able to get as a full-time worker or a professional footballer. And I've just cherished every moment I have with him and my wife and my little furry baby and my dog. We spend a lot of time together as a family, and we love it. It would be getting up about 11 o'clock. No, it wouldn't really. It would get up around about, 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on when the little man gets up. Start your day as per usual. Nice bit of breakfast. I used to sort of really have to look after myself, make sure I was eating right, drinking right, and things like that. Whereas now I try and have as much rubbish as I can because it doesn't matter anymore. No, I try and live a healthy lifestyle still, but I like the tricks more often than I used to anyway. And then that'll be it. I'll head off into work. A very much a normal day job. I'll be at the stadium preparing my week, especially on a Monday morning. I prepare my week. Whether it's meetings or have a little goal in mind. I like having goals. I like having targets. It's exactly the same in my previous career. I can't just work without an end goal. Otherwise, what's the point in working? If you know what I mean. But that's just my mind. I'll be in. I'll be planning. And then that's it. The week will kick off, and I'll either have meetings, I'll go out and meet people, or people come to the stadium, and we're talking about, how we can work together, the support that's already there, whether it's fundraising events coming up, ideas and how we can sort of get more funds into the organisation, even sort of updates. I just have meetings every now and again just to sort of see how people are getting on. We have sort of 25, 26 friends of the trust who, they're all individuals, they all run their own businesses, and you want to just touch base with them all and just see how they're doing, and that takes time. You can't just do it off the cuff willy-nilly. You've got to work hard at it, and I really do enjoy speaking to people, speaking about their business and what they do, and that's part of my role as well. But luckily, it's part of me. I want to get to know people as best as I can. And then that'll be it throughout the day. That's what I'll be working on. I'll be working on my targets, and then back home, sort of whatever time it might be, 5, 6 o'clock, and then we start all over again. But I can't switch off. That's the thing with me. Once I'm home, Amy, it's not a case of right, that's it, switch off now, see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm thinking all the time, what can we do? What can we do there? What can we do there? And I'm going to bed sometimes still thinking about, what I'm doing for the rest of the week, and it's probably not a healthy place to be because you should be able to switch off. But that's just me. That's the way I run. So yeah, that would be my typical day at the moment. I see myself having more of an influence, either within the set or within the organisation as a whole. I love MK Dons. I love the football club. I love what we do in the community. So I'm sort of here to stay as long as I can. I don't see myself going anywhere else at the moment. So I will definitely be here. It's just where, I want to have more of an influence. I'm so passionate about the club, so passionate about our community, and I just want to be able to sort of breathe that into other people, that kind of aura about me. I want people to sort of love Milton Keynes and everything about it as much as I do. So yeah, just have more of an influence if I can in 5 years. My older brother, he's 3 years older than me, and he was always, still is, he's always been very good, technically. He grew up, he was quite big very early on, so he just used to dominate people, so he used to just look much better than his age group. So I just wanted to emulate that, you know, especially at a young age. You know, I'm not talking about when I was a bit older, but, you know, kind of your 3, 4, 5-year-old, I'm kind of looking at him going, I want to be like that. And I suppose not only did I want to be like him, I wanted to be better than him. So so really early on, it was him. He was the one really that I was trying to be better at, and he set a good example, very professional, so I just tried to do the same, if not better. So yeah, he was the person really that got me into it the most, along with obviously my dad. It was a local club called Norman Booth, back in Essex, and my dad ran an age group. I'm pretty sure it wasn't my brother's age group, but he ran an age group, and I used to watch on the side as a 5-year-old, watch my brother play, and I was like, can I play, can I play, can I play, can I play? You know, like a really annoying 5-year-old, that was me. And he goes, you can't play until you're 6. So on my 6th birthday, you know, I think it was like the day after, my brother was playing again. I was like, right, I'm 6 now, can I play, can I play, can I play? And he let me play. You know, I played in the game. I was playing with kids like 2 or 3 years older, and then it kind of was like, right, you know, let's put him into his right age group, and it just went from there. So yeah, I was always that little annoying kid at 5, 6 years old, just wanting to play football all the time. It would be golf. It probably would be. I realise how difficult it is. I speak to some people who don't play golf, and like my wife, for example, and she's just like, you know, you played golf so many times, you should be like really good. And I was like, it's not as easy as that. You know, you've got to try and hit a ball like the size of that, you know, 400 yards into a hole that's only like that big. It's kind of like, well, it is quite difficult. So, but if I got really good at it, if I done it from an early age, golf probably would have been something I would have liked to have played. Yeah, definitely. Secret. There's no secret formula or secret weapon, or you put on these pair of boots and suddenly you become a footballer. It sounds extremely boring, but you have to work hard, you have to be resilient, you have to use your failures and your setbacks as positives. You know, I got released from football clubs, I got told I wasn't good enough, I got told I was too weak, I got told all sorts throughout my career, and I used it almost to a point where I thought, well, I'll show you, you know, you're wrong. And I think you need that kind of that obsession with it, especially at a young age. You know, you got to literally live and breathe it. But it doesn't just come to you. You've got to work hard. You've got to take risks. There's a story about recently I was speaking to Russell Martin. He was telling me about when he was 16 years old. He was just about to go to America on a scholarship, and he sent a letter. It's just him and his, I think it was him and his brother. They sat down, they wrote a letter, and they sent it out to all of the EFL clubs before he left as like a last chance saloon. And 2 clubs come back and gave him a trial. One was Wickham, and he went to Wickham, and he spent his next 4 years there as a professional. You know, and it's just those moments when you listen to people like that who's gone on to have play in the Premier League, you know, he's played for his country. You know, it doesn't just come to you. It's not just put on a plate. You know, he had to go out there and then take that risk. So yeah, hard work, but the willingness to kind of actually be the one to make that decision and take the risk. There's 2 really. I've mentioned these quite a bit. My debut. My debut was for Ipswich Town at 16 years old. And for those of you that know football, Norwich are our rivals, Ipswich versus Norwich, you know, Suffolk, Norfolk derby. And that's what I made my debut in at 16. We went to Carrow Road in front of 30,000 people, and I was 16 sitting on the bench. I was delighted I was even in the squad, couldn't believe it. Then I was on the bench, and then with about 25 minutes, half an hour to go, Joe Raw patted me on the back and said, right, you're going on, son. So I came on with 0-0, and I set up 2 goals, and we won the derby 2-0. So yeah, that was probably my biggest. I could have finished then. I could have actually finished my career then. It would have been fine. I would have been over the moon. I would have been so happy. But that was like sort of dreamland, really. You don't really get those opportunities very often anymore. They're very few and far between. But my other one was probably when we got promoted with MK Dons on the last day of the season at home to Yeovil, and we were chasing. This is a season when we had like Dele Alli and Will Grigg and Benicophobia and people like that, and we were chasing Preston right to the last day, and we were I think we were a point behind, and they hadn't lost in about 20 games. They kept drawing and winning, drawing, but we just last 11 games we won every game, and we got to the last day and they lost on the last day of the season, and they hadn't lost in 20. They lost on the last day of the season and we won, and we overtook them on the last day, and it was absolute pandemonium on the pitch. There was fans everywhere. It was like it was where we deserved to be there. We deserved to get promoted, but it was just a roller coaster of the ride. Like, that was the bit that really kind of made it extra special. And I'd had a tough year as well off the pitch, so that made it for me. That made it the best year, the worst and the best year of my life. It was just, it was fantastic. I was at Yeovil. I spent 2 years down at Yeovil in Somerset, and done pretty well, scored a few goals, sort of at a time in my career where I was sort of hitting my prime. And I'd previously been on loan at Wycombe Wanderers when I was a kid, and John Gorman was manager, and John Gorman was, at the time, was then assistant manager at MK Dons alongside Carl Robinson. And out of the blue, he just rang me after my 2 years at Yeovil and said, look, we see you're kind of coming to the end of your contract. Would you come and play for us? And I love John. John's like, anyone that knows him will tell you he's an absolute diamond guy. He's just a top bloke. And I said, I kind of like didn't believe it at first, because it's MK Dons, like the stadium's unbelievable. They've just made the playoffs, nearly got promoted, and I was playing for Yeovil, who like were fighting relegation every season. And I know I'd done well, but I didn't really expect that. And I just, in a heartbeat, I just said, let me come, let me come and play for you. And that was it. I signed a 3-year contract, and it just went really well. Went really well for me in my first a couple of years especially. And then it just sort of snowballed from there. And it ended up being a fantastic time. 6 years here. I had 1 year which was kind of when I was injured for a lot of time, but overall the 6 years I spent as a player here were my best by far. It's a strange one, really, because I'm in a different position now where again I can just say it how it is, because when you're playing you've got to be really careful, because you kind of get perceived as this kind of ultimate professional. You can't have anything of kind of naughtiness. You can't have a drink. Do you know what I mean? You kind of get seen in this light as, well, they get paid enough, they shouldn't be doing that. But we're all human beings at the end of the day. We're just exceptionally good at something. And so my lifestyle was still very professional. I was always really professional, and I would never I suppose take the mick out of what my job was, or night before a game I'd always make sure I ate the right thing. I made sure I prepared properly, I made sure I recovered properly. But during the week, if I wanted some chocolate, or if I wanted a drink, on a Tuesday night when we didn't have a game till Saturday, and I mean like a glass of wine. I'm not saying like a bottle of wine or 2 bottles of wine or a bottle of vodka or something like that. It was, so my lifestyle was quite normal in a way, but I just used to make sure that actually football was my be all and end all. So I had to make sure I prepared properly, especially for that match day, that 90 minutes. But training was hard. Training was the bit that set you up for the game. The game was the bit that all the fans saw and everyone saw on a match day. But the hard work was really at the training ground. Some days, you would dread going in because you knew what was coming. You knew it was going to be an absolute grind. And what used to make me laugh, Amy, was people would say, now especially now the job I do now, people would say, but you used to start at 10 and be done by 1. And I thought, I suppose sometimes we would turn up just before 10. We'd have a meeting, we'd start training at 10:30. We'd be finished by 12:30, have lunch, and some of us would be showered and off by 1 o'clock. And if you think that's a 3-hour day, but in that 3 hours, we absolutely worked our, excuse my language, but our nuts off. You know, we worked really, really hard. And some people couldn't fathom that. Some people couldn't understand, yeah, but it's only 3 hours, yeah, but I'm not sitting behind a desk for 3 hours. I'm running around like a lunatic in the gym and making sure my body's right. And then, because it was all a build up to that match day. So sometimes it was quite stressful, you know, making sure that every morning you got your body right for training. Then you trained really hard. Then you recovered well. Then you made sure you ate the right lunch. Then you made sure, actually, I might go back in the gym and do a little bit more because this isn't quite right, or I want to work on this. You know, and it can be relentless, and sometimes people don't quite understand that. And to be a professional footballer and to sustain it for what I did for 16 years, you know, it doesn't just come down to you physically, it's mentally as well. And so I felt that I had ups and downs, but you know, the love of the game just sort of pulled me through. Sports and Education Trust, we are a charity arm of the football club. So we are our own organisation, we are a charity, but we have two pathways within the organisation. So we have our football pathway, which is our kind of advanced centre for boys aged, I think it's 10 to 16. We have over 250 boys on that programme. We have other football pathways for girls as well. We have our RTC and our Girls Elite. And that side of the charities is your kind of your pathways to try and improve young people, not just with their sort of health and their fitness, but to improve them as footballers as well, and to give them a chance, give them an opportunity to potentially make a career out of themselves in the game. You know, so we are the first step for many players in Milton Keynes when they can't quite maybe get to that step that they want to. They come to us, and we have some fantastic coaches to be able to give them that pathway. And then we have our other side, which is more of our community engagement. So that's when we go out and we go to schools, we do programs within schools, whether it's, again, health and wellbeing programs. We work with a lot of SEND kids, and so we have specialised people that go in and do those programs as well. And we get some really good reaction from our school stuff. And Jake, our schools manager, is so passionate about making sure he gets the right message into schools. And it's not just our message, and it's not our resources. It comes from the Premier League as well. So the Premier League will deliver resources, or give us resources to deliver into schools. And some of them are brilliant, you know, and you can really see the kids take on board what we're delivering. We have loads of other charity bits and bobs as well. As you know, we do our food larder, our community larder. During the pandemic, one of our employees, a lady called Delia Graves, she won't mind me saying, she came up with an idea to do some kind of food larder, something for the community, the ones that really can't buy food at the moment. They can't financially, they can't cope. So we done a food larder in partnership with Sophia during the pandemic, and it was free food essentially. You know, people would come down to the bus at the stadium, and they'd pick up their parcel. They'd have to sign up, they'd have to ring up and sign up, but there was no charge to that. And then off the back of that, we've come up with a community larder, and it's a really small fee. It's essentially something like £8, say £8 a week, and it gets you about 35 to 40 pounds worth of groceries. So it's little things like that we do, which is completely away from football, but it's something that we're trying to encourage more and more people to do, because we know that times at the moment are really tough. We obviously have our fundraising stuff as well that we do within the community, which is kind of my forte. You know, I'm head of fundraising, and we've done a fantastic event over Christmas, which again was virtual. We had to do a virtual quiz, but in partnership with us, the Mayor of MK, and the Thames Valley Air Ambulance, we raised just over £5,000 on a virtual quiz. So we were, you know, that's absolutely fantastic. You know, so the generosity of people is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's kind of, I could go on. I think this is the thing with the set, is we cover so many different areas: employability, education, sport, mental health. You know, we do so many things, and I suppose the only thing I can really say, Amy, is if you are listening and you really just want to find out a bit more, then go onto our website. You know, do go onto our website, mkdonsset.com, and you'll just spend 10 minutes having a little look, and you'll just see the different areas that we cover. I mean, we work with people aged from 3 up to 90, you know, so they're the different ages, all different disabilities. We obviously have our disability program as well. Our disability footballers, who are, by the way, they are the best group to work with in the world. They are a fantastic group of people, and they are really struggling at the moment as well. So we are here to try and help them during these times. So yeah, we are here to help. We're here to give people an opportunity to better themselves, but also just to really help people in our community. It's one of the most important things. You know, we have to educate our children that they have to be moving, they have to keep moving, but if they do, and they do run around and they do play, because the importance of play is crucial, but to sort of just exercise, to be out, not stuck in front of a computer like we are now, you know, but be out, you know, be active, go out in the garden, you know, go and explore, you know, and be active, because then you can have that balanced diet that you're after. You know, you don't want to be, as a kid, you know, sat behind a TV screen and then sort of be eating naughty stuff all the time, you know, because it's not the right message. We want our kids to be active, we want them to be healthy, live a healthy lifestyle, and then have a balanced diet, you know, to make sure you get all your fruit and vegetables, but also you can have that treat, you know, you can have that treat as well, because you know that actually they've been on their feet all day, they've been running around, they've been very active. So what we try and encourage is not just necessarily, oh, let's play football, because that's not what we're about. We want to make sure that people, kids especially, are educated on their life, their whole lifestyle at such an early age. I know it sounds crazy, but they need to know from a really early age that is really important. As soon as you said that, I wasn't actually thinking about what we do, as in one of our programs. I just thought about the people. You know, so for me, it's the people that run the organisation. You know, we've got an extremely good team together at the moment that are all pulling in the same direction. You know, we're all doing it to help people in our community. There's no egos. There's no one sort of running off in their own direction. You know, we're all doing it for the same cause. So actually, that's what separates us. You know, look, I get there are hundreds of charities and they all do a fantastic job, but I look from within and I look at our team, and I've been part of many teams in my past, and I look at it and I go, do you know what, we're doing all right. You know, we've got a fantastic team here, and without that team you won't be able to provide the service and provide the quality that we do. Without that team you just won't. So yeah, that's what I would say is actually the personalities and the people we've got on board is what makes us. You know what, I don't want to sound sort of because I know a lot of people are struggling, I know a lot of people are really struggling, but we feel alright, we feel okay, and I suppose we're in a very secure situation, myself, my wife and my son, in regards that, you know, we've got a roof over our heads, you know, we're able to put food on the table, you know, we can not live a comfortable life, because, you know, the rich and famous and all those people, they get to live a comfortable life on their yachts and this, that and the other, but what I mean is that there are people really struggling. So it's kind of like, I feel okay, but I feel like I can do more for other people in a strange way. So yeah, look, everyone has their problems, everyone has their issues that, you know, some people know about, some people don't. But at the moment, yeah, we're okay. We're okay at the moment, the Bowditch family, and you know, we just want to be able to give something back to help more families sort of feel okay as well. Would I give them? Just stay as patient as you can. As patient as you can. I know it's really tough, and I've heard people say, you know, things like, well, it's not the same as when we went through the war. You know, when we went, you know, we spent however many years sort of having to be stuck in the house because there was a war going on, and you can kind of go, yeah, okay, I get that, I do get that, and maybe sometimes you can just sort of use that a little bit and say, okay, well, you know, we're not that bad. You know, we can still communicate with people. We still have things like this where you can communicate, but just to be as patient as you can. You know, this will not last forever. It won't last forever, and we'll all look back at this at some point, and we'll all look back and we'll go, you know, that was a really tough time. You know, we've lost loved ones. You know, through this time, there's times, there's been ups and downs. You know, some people have thrived through it, some people haven't. But actually, we'll hopefully look back and go, that was a tough time, but we got through it together. So just be as patient as you can. No, do you know, I like all of them. Everyone I've tried so far, because I'm a chocoholic, Amy. You know, so anything with chocolate in it hits the button for me. So yeah, I'm all over the product. They are really nice as well, and do you know what? They're Moorish. So like you have one, you go, I might just have one more. They're lovely. I really love the passion behind wanting to engage in the community as well. You know, we obviously that's what we do. You know, what you do as an organisation to provide those products, put them on shelves, and do what you do is fantastic. But to have that desire to want to make an impact in your local community as well is fantastic. And there's just the drive that I like. You know, I'm coming from a professional background now where I like people that have a similar drive to me, and this is why I think, you know, we've gotten pretty well. Amy, yourself, Mel, and everyone there that I've met is kind of, you know, Olivier and people like that. They've all got the same similar drive. You know, you want to make an impact. You want to have you want to change people's lives, and I think that is it. That is it. You know, we love the partnership. We want it to last forever, and you just think, well, as long as we both got that passion for it, then why not? You know, so yeah, a fantastic organisation, and obviously just a huge thank you for supporting us.